guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily, Thursday Thoughts. Des here. Hopefully you're having a great day. Thank you for joining today's live episode. Of course, it's viewers' questions answered. Got some good ones to go at today. Got a bit of a running theme, running through it. So based on last week's throwback, I thought it'd be really good to collate some of the running questions. Of course, Do Running started out as a running group, and whilst we've extended into other things, it's a really important part of what we do. So I don't want to completely forget about that. So a lot of the guys make the most of it as it is. I've just got back from a run myself. As I say every week, I like to get out there before the live episode just to calm myself down a little bit, just to give myself chance to clear my mind of what's been happening throughout the day. Give a bit of extra thought to the questions, and just to get out in the daylight. As you can see behind me, I've got the curtains open because it's still light, trying to get every single bit of daylight, because that's really important, isn't it? And it is really important. This week has been a strange week for me. I'm always saying how positive how positive things are when I'm feeling it, but what I like to do through DOdaily is also let you know when it's not so great. And whilst I'm okay, I'm absolutely fine. I'm moving forward, doing all the things I need to do to stay on top of the situation. The things that happened at the start of the week, well documented through DOdaily, have really left a mark. I didn't expect that as well. So it's good for me to sort of keep getting on, keep doing the video, keep getting out for my activity, and making the most of it in all the ways that I suggest throughout the week, throughout each episode, and to just keep that communication going. That's what's really important right now, because like I say, I'm just feeling it. Nothing's wrong. I'll get over it. A positive live session, waking up to walk tomorrow will really put me back into shape, and that's what that's all about. So of course, look out for that tomorrow. But like I say, some good questions, mainly running based. Thanks for those who posted those in. Put the question out there through my social media today, asking people to offer some input, and that's all it's about. It's just about getting involved, supporting what I'm trying to do here. Of course, trying to build the channel is something I really want to do. Something kind of taken on a bit of a project through lockdown, and want to drive it forward. I plan on doing it post-lockdown, and building what I've got here. It's hard work. It really is. It's not an easy thing, and it's not easy to get people to get it, understand why I want to do it, how it relates into everything. Sometimes accepting change is difficult as well, isn't it? We all struggle with that a little bit. So just trying to sort of keep banging the drum, keep passing the message on of why I want to do it and what I'm doing, and the benefits people can take from it. Just that little bit of information. Sometimes I don't claim to know it all. I don't claim to know too much, to be honest. But by passing on a bit of information, what I can do is help people who might just be looking in. And like I say, with the questions asked, I've got a bit of experience now. I've basically dedicated my life to running and activity and trying to help people. I'm looking more and more into the bigger picture now, but trying to sort of encourage people to make healthy changes, and that's all it's about. So if somebody takes something from it, each episode, if one person takes from it overall, then it's definitely doing the trick, isn't it? It's definitely worthwhile. And like I say, if anything, it helps me retain my focus, keeps me going, whilst it keeps me busy, and can sometimes add to a little bit of stress in the day. It's really is useful to go at. Because of those questions, I was kind of lining things up last week. I knew I'd got some questions in already. I've got more to work at. So if I don't answer your questions today, I've not forgot. I've written them all down in my little book. And it's good to have a bank, because then we can kind of theme it like this. So, but because I was kind of anticipating a lot of answers around the running, last week's throwback was what one single event, not necessarily running, but like I say, I anticipated through the people who generally watch and who comment, are you looking forward to post-lockdown? Of course, last week we spoke about the the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, the announcements were made the previous Monday, the roadmap that we're all open to follow. So there was a lot sort of based around that, and I thought it's great to start looking forward again. Lots of events are starting to pop up. You know, all sorts of things are being put back on. I always talk about the football and getting back to that. And there's a possibility of getting to the match again, you know, and all sorts of things. So I thought it'd be great to know what people are really sort of looking forward to. Some great responses again. And again, it's just to give people hope, to get people in the right frame of mind, to get them planning. You know, when we plan and prepare things, I always say it's so much better, isn't it? You know, it's so much easier to look forward to, you know, and really make the most of, because that's what we've got to do now. Do you know what? Whatever happens, whether there's some hiccups along the way, we've got to start looking forward. It's gone on too long now. You know, it's nearly a year we've been in this situation. So we've got to sort of look at a point when we can look beyond it, you know, and get on with our lives. And that's, you know, I've said quite a lot through DOdaily, not necessarily on a Thursday and other episodes. Do you know, when the chips are down, we've got to take a good long look at ourselves sometimes and really make those decisions to be happy and push forward. And that's what I'm trying to achieve by this. So just to reel a few off, Kay says Benidorm Half. It's a big event in the Do Running calendar. We've been there for the last 2 years. You know, really great atmosphere, lots of epic efforts in terms of running and enjoying ourselves. So really is one we look forward to. 17 of us went last year, so it was actually due to be last weekend, but it's been put off until November. So we've still got that sort of glimmer of hope of it taking part this year. And if it doesn't take part this year, we'll go next year. Potentially, we could end up going twice in 3 months, and that's something we'd really, really look forward to. John is looking forward to a park run. I think lots of us, you know, there's announcements been made about park run. I've been reading some information today about what their plans are in coming back. Us runners, we all absolutely love that. And of course, park run's there for everybody now, whether you're a runner, walker, you know, volunteers, anybody can get involved. It's really, it's a great start to a weekend. So he's really looking forward to that. Start working towards his next milestone. And that's what it's about, isn't it? You know, completing them, ticking them off, achieving along the way, and also enjoying all those that enjoy it as well. You know, it's really important. Dave says he's looking forward to the Do Running Wednesdays. You know, it's a midweek session. I've based the Wednesday workout challenge around really, really social. We tend to go out for a run and then all get back together and discuss events, discuss all the things I'm discussing here, but of course in larger groups and get a good feel and good spirit. It's absolutely fantastic. It was where it all started for me in terms of Do Running and the group, and it's absolutely fantastic to be part of. And as I always say, I touched on it yesterday, the perfect escapism midweek. On the same note, Dawn says she's really looking forward to a Sunday morning group in person. One of her favourite is the Sunday mornings. Again, it's really social. We tend to meet in a local Wetherspoons. I wasn't going to say the name, but why not? You know, and we get some breakfast. She's really looking forward to going for a walk. We do running and walking as part of that group. People can do absolutely what they want in terms of activity. But then again, we all meet up. So there's something for everyone, and different types of people there. So again, it's a really friendly group, a really sort of great spirit. And it's just about sort of extending that activity into a social sort of event as well. And it makes it really enjoyable. There's been many Sundays we've sat there till long gone midday after meeting at 9 o'clock. Sometimes even into the evening, but we try not to do that too much, of course. Rachel's looking forward to 24-hour events, you know, all the stresses of that and getting sort of running around in the middle of the night. We do one, there's a couple locally, but we do one called Thunder Run, a big team effort again, and there's one Equinox sort of in a different direction from Nottingham, but the really epic events where you run 10k laps and everybody's in great spirits. It involves camping and eating and drinking again. So it's all a great social event where lots of people come together to enjoy what they're doing. Hannah says she's really enjoying, looking forward to visiting family. Of course, I think lots of us are missing that, aren't we? It's a really important thing, and I'm always talking about connections, you know. And one of the biggest things we have to remember is just like we will get that opportunity again. All these things are about reconnecting, you know, but family is probably more important than most, you know. So I can understand that. Hannah's family live in Norfolk, so she's really looking forward to getting back there. And that's kind of runs for the next few, really. Claire is from Ireland, you know, she's really looking forward to getting on a plane and getting back to Ireland. Don't blame her, I absolutely love getting over there myself. You know, I've been quite a few times now, and I enjoy the Guinness, I enjoy the crack, you know, that's what Ireland's famous for, isn't it? Simon's looking forward to his gigs. You know, I think one of the last events I went to was a Stereophonics gig, my favourite band, and it was with Simon and a couple of others. I won't mention how drunk I was, but those who went with me will know. One of my worst. But there you go. It was a great event, great day. You know, we actually went to a football match and then a gig. So two of my favourite things. If I'd have realised then how long it would be before I go again, you know, it'd have been really tough to take. But like I say, we're looking forward, aren't we? And Ben says he's looking forward to travelling to Canada to see his friends. He was due to go last year, you know, and it's something he really wants to do this year. So lots of things to look forward to there, isn't there? And what, like I said before, you know, just keep looking forward to it. Keep dreaming about it. Keep thinking about it. You know, a lot of the times, you know, it's the excitement that builds that create a good thing. When we're not looking forward to things, when we're down on ourselves, you know, we go into them with the wrong attitude. We don't do what we should do, you know, and we end up not enjoying it. You know, if you go into something really positive, we're always talking about being positive, aren't we? You know, you'll get so much more from it, and all those things will come, you know, and the more you look forward to it, the more you'll enjoy it on the day, and some will come quicker than others, of course, but it'll be absolutely fantastic when we can do it and get all that enjoyment from what we do, you know, and enjoy running again, enjoy the activities, enjoy family, you know, enjoy being part of things. That's what it's all about, and that's all I'm ever trying to encourage through Do Running, Do Daily. Like I said, this is a bit of an initiative off the back of lockdown, but it's a way of trying to stay connected. Some people run a mile from it. That's okay. You know, it's a little bit frustrating for me because I think I'm trying to pull everyone together here. But, you know, we can only do what we can do. And whilst there's people trying, you know, that's all we have to do, isn't it? Is just do our best to make the most of the situation, to stay on top form and do what we do. Moving into the questions, and like I say, there is a bit of a running theme going through it today. Activity, running, bit of both. The first question is from Helen. As the weather's starting to change, how should we adapt our clothing for outdoor exercise? Of course, this is something I've been talking about a lot, isn't it? You know, making the most of the lighter nights, you know, and really sort of getting out there and enjoying the slightly improving temperatures. You know, it's dipped a little bit again. I really was enjoying last week. The sun was out. We was up to really mild temperatures for this time of year, but it's great to make the most of it when you can. What I'd say on this is just it is still a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? So just if you can, get outside for a few minutes just to sort of test things out, you know, put on what you think might be suitable. One sort of rule of thumb I would go by, you know, I've had the opportunity to run in a t-shirt a bit more often over the last couple of weeks, and that's something I really enjoy. I don't like too much excess clothing or baggage. You know, I like to run with just my watch and my t-shirt and shorts. And what I would say, if you're thinking about things like that, just test it out. If you're a little bit chilly when you go out the door, when you go to test it, you know, because it can be deceptive. It can be really sunny out there, but it can be absolutely freezing. You know, we've had a couple of days, it's been -1, -2, but the sun's shining. So just give it a test. But if you're a little bit chilly, you know, you stand there for a minute or two and it's a little bit cold, that might be okay. You know, it might be okay, whatever you're wearing at that point, to get out there, because you are going to warm up, you know, naturally by walking, running, cycling, whatever you do, you're going to warm up a little bit. And it's important not to get too hot, isn't it? So if we go out there and we're really cold and we really wrap up, you know, it's it's going to be difficult to sort of sustain our activity, and it's going to become particularly uncomfortable if we've got too many clothes on because we've overcompensated. On the other hand, we don't want to undercompensate. We don't want to go out there and be absolutely freezing. You know, it's important to have layers on. If you're a little bit unsure, you know, wear clothing that you can almost take off. So zip tops, maybe light zip tops, which you can undo, carry, you know, tie around your waist. You know, if you're kind of wearing layers rather than a big bulky jumper, you know, thinner layers, but more of, you can almost take them off and carry them, like I say, or tie them around your waist. And it's just one way of sort of adjusting again to the weather. Because I think that's all it is really, isn't it? We can all go out there, whatever the weather, and do a bit of exercise, but it's just adjusting to the conditions. You know, like I say, we don't want to get too hot either, do we? You know, we don't want to overeat and make it uncomfortable for us. But on the other hand, we don't want to sort of be too cold, end up with the flu and such things, you know, things that are really going to set us back. So I think what I'd say there is my first tip is almost to go outside and have a look. You know, it's easy just to assume that it's going to be okay because it was like this yesterday, but at this time of the year, it's really, really difficult to predict. Of course, check the weather, you know, check the forecast. And then on the other hand, what I said was perhaps you might consider wearing sort of lighter layers, which you can almost easily take off and carry, or discard to sort of however you need to. You know, you might leave them in cars if you're traveling somewhere or wherever, you know, or if you're traveling to a group, when that opens up, you might be able to store them. Those kind of things are the things I suggest, you know, but it is really important. You know, what I will say is that I've always been one, until the last couple of months, until I've been really evaluating how I go about things, about not wearing, I've always been one for wearing shorts all the way through the winter and t-shirt and being a big brave soldier, you know. And I've realised that this winter, you know, I needed to get wrapped up at times, particularly when I was taking the pace off a little bit. You know, I needed to put more layers on. I even ran in tracksuit bottoms. Carrying injuries and things, you know, it's not always good for your joints to be cold, you know, and of course warming up is key as well. Deciding your clothing after a warm up might be another indication of how you're going to cope during your run. So I think there's a few things to go out there, you know, and as it really heats up into the summer, you know, the lighter t-shirts, you know, the lighter colours as well. But that's something I'm sure we'll come to in due course. You know, we're not quite there yet. We're just making the most of it getting just above zero at the moment, aren't we? But thanks for the question. Really good and really sort of good for this time of year. Question 2. What do you think is a good amount of events to take part in as restrictions lift? This comes from Dave. Another great question. And again, it ties into what I was sort of aiming at with the throwback there and some of the things we spoke about last week. You know, it's important to start planning things in and arranging things. But I think what Dave's getting at there is it's important not to plan too much. All these events that was cancelled from last year are now getting rescheduled. And I know already I've got a really busy September, October, and November. You know, I'm going to be busy almost every weekend taking part in events. And whilst I'm looking forward to that, of course, we're going to be sort of riding a wave of excitement and working off the adrenaline. And if we can work hard in the summer and get ourselves prepared properly, that's really is part of what I'm trying to do in terms of my targets and goals, you know, which includes diet and drinking and sleeping and all these things. I'm really trying to get it nailed on because I know I've got a busy period coming. I know I've got lots of half marathons and marathons, you know, over that period. So I think it's really important not to overload too much, and where possible, perhaps shift one or two of those. I know there's a lot of excitement, particularly around the London Marathon, but I know there's options with that for some people. You know, you can either do it this year, you can defer till next year, or even the year after, I think. So if you've got lots of events and you want to do them all, it might just be a case of looking at it that way, thinking, well, I could put that back because that don't quite fit in. You know, I'm not sure what the answer is in reality of how many you should take part in. It might be the approach you take when you do take part. You know, I've got a couple of half marathons before my Manchester Marathon. You know, so So it might be a case of using those as good training runs, you know, almost working on race pace, but not at the same distance. Or as it gets closer to the marathon, you know, just using them as those long runs, perhaps doing even more on that day to build up to my marathon day. You know, and I think it's just really good to come up with a plan, you know, prepare what you're going to do and give it some thought about how you're going to tackle each one. Going into each race thinking you're going to absolutely smash it, you want a PB. You know, we all know that the side effects to sort of good races sometimes can be a niggle here and there. You know, it can be pushing yourself too much, getting a little bit demotivated after. You know, I know after the big events, and I'm going to come to that a little bit later, but yeah, after big events, I've lost a lot of motivation, particularly marathons, you know. So it's important to go into it with an open mind, give it some thought, but go into it with an open mind, and perhaps even, it's just sort of dawned on me, sort of just see how you're feeling on the day. You know, almost prioritize which one's the most important, you know, to you. Whilst it's always great to complete an event, getting the medal, getting the t-shirt, you know, it feels fantastic. We've already said we can't wait to them. Some of the guys have suggested races themselves. You know, it might just be a case of doing what's in the calendar, but taking a view of which is most important and how you're going to tackle each one. To answer the question, like the specific question Dave asked there, what's a good amount? You know, again, it depends where your training's at, but I'd probably say, if I was honest, and I'm going to sort of, I've already contradicted that, you know, I'd probably go with 1 a month. You know, it's a nice number if you're serious about your running. You know, some people do 1 a year. I know people locally who only ever train for Robin Hood, and that's their event, and that's enough for them. You know, that's fantastic, isn't it? You know, if you're a runner and you want to maintain that fitness and maintain some motivation to keep going for events, you know, whilst it's not all about that for me, I love to get enjoyment just from them everyday ones. You know, it's important to use it for motivation when you really need to, and that's what I'm trying to get to there. So if I had to put a number on it, perhaps 1 a month, but I know as soon as lockdown restrictions over, we're all going to absolutely smash it, and we're going to do as many as we can. You know, them medal tallies are going to start going again, and again, why not? It's something we're looking forward to, but just be mindful of the impact it can have on us in terms of our body, injuries, and motivation. That, of course, that's something we talk about a lot. So thanks for that question, Dave. Really appreciate that. Question 3 today, it comes from Mel. Another fantastic question. She says, have I got time to train for a 10K event which will take place in September? She basically asked this because she says she did the chats with 10K a few years ago. She was really pleased with the time, but she's not done much running since. She's really sort of not. She was pleased with the time. She told me it was a tough event, and I actually know that because I've done the chats with 10K. And the first 4 or 5K are the worst 4 or 5K you'll ever find in a 10K event. One of the hills in particular is horrendous, but it's all uphill. So it's going to take some training for Mal, I think. But I think that there is absolutely plenty of time. I look back to when I started running, it was about this time of year, you know, when I really seriously got into thinking about what I was doing, you know, losing weight. I started at the start of the year to lose weight. And by this time, and everyone was telling me to sign up for Robin Hood, which is in September as well. Robin Hood half marathon, and I was having none of it. I was thinking, I want to do it, but I'm not ready. You know, I was doing my 5Ks, doing a mile, building up to 2 miles. I went to park running, did my 5Ks, and then I just started building it. And it wasn't until July that I actually said I'd do a half marathon. You know, I wanted to get a 10K in. So from March to July, I built up to 10K. And that doesn't mean you have to go out there and run miles and miles. You know, it might just be a case of starting now, you know, getting a mile in. You know, it's, 6 months till September. A simple way of doing it, but you'd have to plan it in, is almost go a mile a month. You know, if you're just running consistent miles, you know, it doesn't have to be too many times a week either for 10K. I don't think 2 or 3 times a week, you know, and you could build up gradually. Even a half month, you could do a mile, 1.5 mile, you know, 2 mile, 2.5 miles. Just a simple way of building up steady. Of course, there's always the one consideration is, as you are building up, you might just consider the extra 10% rule. So if you can already do 1 or 2 miles, 2 miles, say, you know, and you do that two or 3 times this week, that's 6 miles. So next week you might be looking to do 6.5 miles. So your last one of the week might be a longer one. Do you know? And that's how we tend to work as runners. You know, particularly when you're marathon training, we do certain amounts in the week, and then at the weekend, you know, you've got to go out and slog a few hours when you've perhaps got a bit more time. But it's important not to build up too quickly, and that's what I'm trying to say there. But it's definitely enough time that the optimum. The time they kind of, all these training plans, all these expert givers to train from almost scratch to a marathon, if you really sort of wanted to do it that way, I wouldn't particularly advise that, but all the way up to a marathon is supposed to be 16 weeks, you know, so you're supposed to be able to train in that time. I'd like to sort of think people give it a bit longer than that and build up gradually, but that's what a training plan would suggest. And a lot of half marathon plans are based over 12 weeks. So again, it's definitely doable. You know, it's just about getting out there, changing some of those walks into runs. You know, I know Mel's doing the steps challenge at the moment. So all good training. If you're getting in 10,000 steps a day, you're covering 10K most days. Do you know, I know it for me, it means covering that kind of distance, 6 or 7 miles. If you can get your 10,000 steps in every day and drop 1 or 2 runs in a week, that's the perfect start. And then it's just a case of building up gradually. But that Chatsworth 10K, I know how hilly it is. I know how tough it is. And it almost feels like you're freewheeling down at the end. It was one of the hardest runs I've ever done in my life. So to do that, to train to do that, you could definitely do it again. You could definitely get out there. And again, something to look forward to, isn't it? Something to work hard to it, and almost use this steps challenge you've been involved in to sort of give it an extra purpose. So you're going to take it forward. It's going to create a bit of a legacy for yourself. It might sound a bit daft, that, but you know what I mean. It's something to say, well, I've done that in preparation for this. And whenever we do that, it makes it even more worthwhile whilst we're doing it. And that's what I'm trying to do with that. You know, just touching on that steps challenge. The guys that have taken part now have accumulated nearly 5 million steps, and that's just getting people active. It's trying to create habits. You know, that's all I'm trying to do with that, is encourage people to realize how much they are doing, but also how much they're not doing, and how important and what the difference is when you do them and when you don't do them, if you see what I mean. So if you can use some what you're doing, the guys are doing fantastic. Like I say, 5 million steps in 15 days, that's absolutely incredible. I suggested at the start, if everybody who agreed to take part did 10,000 a day, would get to 10 million steps. But already we're halfway there, you know, and we've still got 5 days to be halfway through. So that's absolutely fantastic. So thanks for that question, man. I hope that kind of answers that. But you've definitely got time, and I won't mind giving that one a go again myself. You know, it's a nice place, Chatsworth, just outside the Peak District. So definitely worth a go. It's definitely a tester though, so don't expect any PBs, although 1 or 2 people have told me they've got one. They must have really gone for it at the end, because that first hill, you know, is an absolute killer. So thanks for those questions. Like I said, there was a running theme going through them. Really appreciate them. Some good stuff there. Really enjoyed getting stuck into those again. Of course, running is my kind of real passion through the activity, whilst I want to encourage people to get the benefits, get involved whichever way they can, and love getting stuck into things like that. And we will keep revisiting it. Like I said, don't want to neglect it just because we are looking at other things. I appreciate the bulk of the people that watch, that get involved, you know, really want to take things forward, and like Mel there, you know, really want to sort of use the information and what they're doing at the moment to start achieving things again. And that's what we can do, can't we? Post-lockdown, it's about really sort of coming through it. And I touched on there when I was talking about Dave, about losing a bit of motivation. And I just want to sort of I just want to talk about last week. Just dip back to last week when we was talking about the light at the end of the tunnel. I've almost got that feeling again, and partly because I'm feeling a bit sort of because of my own situations and things I've spoke about this week. But it's almost we've fell back into that point with lockdown again, haven't we? Where it's kind of after the Lord Mayor's show. So Boris spoke a week last Monday. We all got that wave of excitement. But again, it's all just been tempered a little bit. We've all sort of reverted back to being a little bit fed up with the situation, a little bit sort of, where do we go from here? How do we push forward? But I just want to sort of reiterate, it's so important to keep driving forward, keep really, really pushing on, keep encouraging each other, keep being part of something. I always ask for support with this. I absolutely need it. I spend a lot of my time encouraging others and putting myself out there. That's what I do. But, when we can all help each other, when we can all support, that's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Seeing people sort of say, well done, jump onto challenges, come in late, what's this all about? That's all fantastic, isn't it? I touched on at the start of the episode that people sometimes find it hard to change, but we have to accept that. Things are going to change regardless. There's going to be things that crop up post-COVID that we never saw coming. We didn't see the COVID situation coming, did we? So the way people react to things, the way people deal with things, we're going to have to adjust. And I think it's just a case of accepting that, moving on and being positive. But like I said, don't let last week's sort of positivity drain away too quickly. It was going to take time. For all his faults, Boris said he was being cautious. They're going to be cautious with us. We have to keep sort of doing all the things we do, getting involved in the activity, like those guys who are doing the steps, absolutely fantastic, just to keep churning them out. Feeling a little bit tired myself, and what I was saying there, sorry, about getting a little bit demotivated. I used activity this week on a Tuesday. I'm always encouraging doing plenty of it, reaping those benefits, and I do get a lot from it. On Monday, I was feeling a little bit down about certain things, well highlighted already. So I really, really threw myself into my activity because that's my way of taking my mind off things. But I'm just going to be cautious myself here and say, don't do too much. I've done a lot recently, and I've told you all the reasons for that. I'm trying to sort of work on a lot of things to be in the best possible shape, but I've just got to be a little bit conscious of what I am doing. After Tuesday, I've hit a bit of a flat spot. I'm feeling really, really tired. And I managed to do sort of 20 miles on my feet on Tuesday and then sort of expected to get up and do it again. So I've just got to be sort of cautious about what I'm doing, and not do too much. I've now ran for over 120 days in a row, at least 5K. And I say that not looking for massive praise or pats on the back. I'm looking for consistency. That's what I really want. But I've just got to be mindful whilst I'm encouraging activity all the time. When your body needs a rest, when you do need to take time and thinking about those events, Dave mentioned there and how they will be in close proximity. It's important to take a rest when you need it. I'm thinking now, I've taken it a little bit easier today. I've had a nice one with Kay, and managed to get my steps in, but I'm just going to be working off the bare minimum for the next couple of days. And I just wanted to sort of remind of that. I know I'm the biggest one there for encouraging involvement and doing epic things and getting that feeling from it. And that's absolutely fantastic. But when we just have to take a moment, a few days here and there just to sort of take a foot off the gas and take it easy. And then it can be great for motivation again, because that's kind of what I felt. I mentioned after marathons, sometimes you do all that epic achievement, you get all that praise, you feel fantastic yourself, you've got the medal, you've taken all the pictures, and then all of a sudden you've got nothing to train for, and it's like, what do I do next? So it's just a case of like sort of working out how you can move forward. One of my best tips of advice one of my biggest tips and advice after a marathon is book something else in. So whilst it's important not to do too much as well, I'm slightly sort of crossing over a little bit, it's important to plan and prepare, you know, and have something to work for, because if you do want to keep moving it forward, if you're not going to take a prolonged break and you don't want to do that for motivational factors, you know, it's important to have something to work to again, so it doesn't feel like it's pointless. Hopefully that made sense, but you know, I'm sure you'll know what I mean. Anyway, moving on. If you've got any questions for next week, please post them in. Please email me if you'd like to do it that way. Post them on any of the comments from the social media throughout the week through the different episodes. I'll always pick them up. Like I say, if you've sent me a question today, I've written it down in my little book. I won't miss it. You know, I really, really appreciate getting the questions and having a few to work from. You know, I know it's probably takes a few minutes out of your day, but believe me, it might just help somebody somewhere. And the feeling you get when somebody sort of comes back and says that really helped, you know, it's fantastic. And I can't do that without you guys. So if you can keep posting those in, keep liking, sharing. Like I say, I'm trying to build this. Don't plan on going anywhere. Well, I'm not, you know. It's really, really useful for many reasons, you know, and it's good to sort of keep pushing forward, keep passing on information, and keep knowing that people are taking something from it. So, like I say, like, share, subscribe, you know. I want to get to 100. It's taken me forever, you know, absolutely forever. And I know it's not easy, so it's one of those things I'm just going to keep chipping away at, but with your support, I'll get there, you know, and we can keep doing it. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow for Wake Up to Walk. You know, it's actually supposed to be a bit warmer again, and the sun's supposed to be up in the morning. Fingers crossed, because it's been a bit dull this week. But Fridays tend to be like that, don't they? I've managed to get some great pictures, so I'll be out there really attacking the day. Looking back at the week, as I always do, I've touched on it today, but giving it a real go going into the weekend and trying to sort of regain that sort of, well, I've got positivity, but trying to get back onto top form, you know, and really sort of enjoy what I'm looking forward to, but take some time as well and make the most of it. So if you can join me for that, you know, I'll be somewhere different, you know, highlighting the importance of it all. It's absolutely fantastic on Friday, my favourite time of the week, and then I get a few days off. You get a few days off from me bugging you to watch, like, subscribe and do all those things. But of course, if you can do those things, you know, put the links up there, you know, if you can sort of tag us in what you're doing. That's what it's all about, you know, trying to motivate and inspire people. So if you use the different daily motivations, tag us in on your Instagram, your Twitter, your Facebook, you know, we can share the pictures, and it just helps build this. Of course, I'm doing it. I'm trying to do this grassroots, and that's the way I'd like it to be, organic. You know, there's no sort of great investment. There's no one backing it. So I'll keep working hard at what I'm doing if you keep watching. So thanks for tuning in, guys. You know, I'll get there this week. You know, I don't want to sort of be about doom and gloom. I know it hasn't been, but I know in the morning I'll be on top form and I'll be really looking forward to it. Check out to see where I am. Until then, just doing it.